Hello, my dear students. Hello to every person watching this channel. Our lesson is for grade 11 students. We will do reading comprehension. I'll be with you right after a short break, so prepare your stuff. Welcome back, my dear students. We will start our lesson today with reading comprehension. Now, in reading comprehension, we have 4 parts. First part is choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. The second part is reference to the passage. The third part is a summary making. Fourth part is translation, in which you are going to be translating from English to Arabic and vice versa, Arabic into English. Let's begin our lesson with some new words. Our first word is accuracy. Accuracy is our first word, which means the quality or state of being correct or precise. Let's look at the picture. Second word is core programming. What is core programming? Core programming is the central or most important program. And our third word is fractional. Fractional means relating to the separation of components of a mixture. This picture is an example. Let's move on with our next words. We have average. On average. What do you think it means? Usually. For example, you usually wake up at 7 o'clock a.m. Our next word is primarily. Primarily. Primarily means mainly. What about prime time? What do you think prime time means? It's a time which what? When the majority of people watch television. For example, we have this picture. This is the time when they all watch television. It's their prime time. Our last 3 words for today are staggering, teaching aid, and visualize. Staggering. What do you think staggering is? Astonishing. Did you see this face? It's an example. Teaching aid. By reading the word teaching aid, you know that it has to do something with teaching, right? And aids means equipment, materials used in teaching. For example, the data show here. It's one of the teaching aids. Visualize means to imagine. Just like the girl over here, she is imagining. Now, first thing, when you have the passage right in front of you, read it very carefully and read it silently, so then you can answer the questions. Let's begin and let's read together. Recent data indicates that on average, children spend approximately 3 hours a day watching television. Although this figure may seem staggering at first, after a quick survey amongst my fellow classmates, I realized the accuracy of this statistic. Okay. Now let's go on to the second paragraph. In view of this, I believe that broadcast television stations have responsibility to serve the educational needs of children when scheduling their core programming, including specifically designed programs that can be viewed both in and outside the classroom. So you can understand over here that they're talking about what exactly? Programs, educational programs. If you do not understand something, go back and read it again so that you can understand what they're talking about. Now let's read together the third paragraph. Try reading it with me. On average, we watch television programs 2 or 3 times a week at my school. Television can be a valuable teaching aid, especially when we are studying other cultures or languages. For example, a geography lesson on Sri Lanka can be greatly enhanced by viewing a documentary about the country and its customs. I think in your schools or in classes, you can use the television as well, right? If you want to, what? Learn about different countries or cultures. Now, let's read. Every week, in one of our French lessons, we watch a program about a family who lives in Paris. Primarily, this helps us practice listening to spoken French. So through television, you can hear the language. However, I also feel it helps me relate to my studies more and improve my concentration. Pre-recorded programs are also commonly used in maths and science lessons. The teachers themselves record them late at night, as educational programs are rarely shown at prime time. The teacher makes sure the maths and science shows do not contain any new lesson and are instead used as a revision tool. This helps us visualize what we have been learning. For example, I found it much easier to understand fractional distillation after I had seen the process on video. Do you think over here that the television can be educational? You can use it for what? Revision classes. Let's go on with our next paragraph. Let's read together. I definitely feel that the programs we are shown at school have a greater educational value than most children's programs. Although they are fun, we don't learn much from them. Public broadcasters should be injecting more education into children's entertainment, especially during after-school hours, when the majority of viewers are students. Don't you think so? Now, we will move on to our questions, which is the first part in our reading comprehension. Read the question very carefully. What does the writer mean by prime time? And we have 4 options. Let's read the 4 options first. The time at which television audience is the largest, the time when commercials are usually shown, the time when broadcasters discuss their programming, or the time when children are at school. What do you think prime time? We have discussed it earlier. It's when what? Well done. It's the time at which television audience is the largest. Correct. Our second question. What does the personal pronoun they refer to? It's underlined and you have to go back to the passage in order to find out what is they. We have options. Read the options first. Viewers, broadcasters, teachers, and children programs. Now let's look at the passage. There it is. It's in the third line. How can I find what is the pronoun? We have to read the sentence. Read from the beginning. I definitely feel that the programs we are shown at school have a greater educational value than most children's programs, although they are fun. So what do you think they? It's children's programs. Now let's look at the question again. What does the personal pronoun they refer to? What do you think the answer is? We have 4 options. It is? Well done. It's children's programs. Excellent. Now, number 3. The best title for the passage would be? Again, we have 4 options. I want you to choose the best title. You already read the passage. What do you think is the most suitable title? Educational television programs, importance of television, teaching aids, or language programs. What is the text talking about? Educational television programs. Fantastic for those who have got it correct. Now, number 4. The student describes the figure as staggering because it is what? Why do you think it's described as staggering? What does staggering means? Try to remember the definition. Is it astonishing, boring, unpleasant, or dull? Think about it a little bit. Is it something good? Is it something bad? What do you think? What do you think the answer is? It's what? We'll read together. Although this figure may seem staggering at first, after a quick survey, any ideas? It means astonishing. Well done. Astonishing is the correct answer. The student describes the figure as staggering because it's astonishing. Now, we will move on to the second part of reading comprehension. What is the second part? Is that we have reference to the passage and I want you to answer some questions. Let's read the questions together. What kind of program is the writer recommending? What kind? The writer was recommending some kinds of programs, right? What do you think are they? Are they something what? Fun? Or are they useful? Are they films, movies? What do you think the programs are? Educational programs. Number 6, what are the benefits of such programs? Think about the educational programs. Are they beneficial? What are you doing right now? You're watching what? An educational program. Why? To review or revise some of the things you have taken in school, right? So this is educational and it's beneficial. Let's have a look. It's teaching inside and outside the classroom. Why is it outside the classroom? Because you're at home watching this program, correct? Now, let's move on. How did the writer support the facts in the statistic? How did he support? You should go back to the passage if you're not sure. Let's have a look at the answer here. He conducted a survey. That's the correct answer. Why is television described as a teaching aid? Think about the question. Read it again. Why is television described as a teaching aid? Why is it a teaching aid? Because it helps the students to learn more, especially about other cultures and languages. Correct? Now, this is our third part in the reading comprehension, which is a summary making. What's a summary making? You have a paragraph or you have a topic, a question which you were asked, and you have to summarize these answers into your own words. For example, in not less than 4 sentences, summarize the importance of educational programs on television through the subjects you study. Over here, we have to go back to our text and try to summarize the points they want. This is the text. Where do you think we can summarize? What information do they want? We have studying other cultures, right? Or languages. This is one of the benefits, right? What else? Practice listening to spoken French. This is another thing. Don't you think so? Now let's go on. And we have a third point, which is improves what? Concentration. It also improves your concentration by how? By focusing and listening to the language. Do we have any more points? Let's look at this paragraph. What do you think? The teachers themselves or where? It's what? It's a revision tool, right? When you are taught in school and then you go home and you watch this program, it's what? It's like a revision to your own classes. And it helps us visualize what we have been learning. And we have the example over here, which was culture about geography or maths or any other language, English. Now, let's try to write down the required summary. Remember that the summary should be in a paragraph. Do not write your sentences in points. Try to make a short paragraph. Let's read our answers together. Educational programs give ideas about different cultures. They help us practice listening to other languages such as French. In addition, they improve our concentration. Finally, they make us visualize what the teacher has already taught us in class. Now, you can see that they're not in points, they're not in single points. And in order to connect these sentences, I also used words. For example, finally, in addition. You can use these words. Our fourth part of our reading comprehension today is translation. In translation, you will have a paragraph, very short paragraph, from the text you have just read. And you have to translate it in Arabic. And remember, read it carefully, read the whole sentence, and then translate it. Do not translate every single word. You wouldn't make sense in it. On average, we watch television programs 2 or 3 times a week at my school. Television can be a valuable teaching aid, especially when we are studying other cultures or languages. Now, my dear students, when we translate, remember not to translate every single word, word by word. You should read the whole sentence and translate it as a whole, but it has to have exactly the same meaning. Let's look at our answer. نحن نشاهد برامج التلفاز بمعدل 2 إلى 3 مرات في الأسبوع أو أسبوعياً في مدرستنا. ويعتبر التلفاز وسيلة تعليمية قيمة وخاصة عندما نتعلم ثقافات ولغات أخرى. Now, let's move on to the second part of translation. I want you to translate the following into good English. Let's read it together. سعود: ومن المعروف أن وسائل الإعلام باعتبارها الركيزة الرابعة للديمقراطية ولديها تأثير كبير على المجتمع. سعود: The media is known as the fourth pillar of democracy and it has a huge impact on society. Now let's read the Arabic so then we can translate it. سهام: بالتأكيد هناك آثار إيجابية وسلبية. Let's read it in English. سهام: Of course, there are positive as well as negative effects. My lovely viewers, as you can see, we have come to an end. I hope our episode was interesting and beneficial. I hope to see you in another episode. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.